Hi everyone and welcome back to Disc Golf Valley Tips and Tricks, and here it is 2024. We're making our way through the courses again, started a brand new account, and we have reached the level of Crow's Nest, and we're going to do a practice run on Crow's Nest today and show you a few tips and tricks along the way. We're working with some disc packs that are available in the Pro Shop, the Strive pack, the Tournament pack, the Nostalgia pack, and a few discs that we have picked up along the way as we level up and as we attain our 3 stars. And so with that, let's get started with Crow's Nest. Hit the practice button and choose Crow's Nest and get started. The first couple of holes on this course are quite easy. Not much I can show you here. Just take your fuse disc, and if you have a better 5-speed that goes a little bit further, that's preferable here, but since we're just working with this fuse, we're going to have to be happy with that. But it gets you fairly close to the basket, and for an easy birdie. Let's take a look at it one more time. If you are using the fuse, it has a tendency to go straight wherever you point it. So to have it curve around a little bit, put quite a bit of a hyzer on that, and that way you won't run the risk of going off the edge there along that fence. And you can use the fuse again to pop it in. And let's move on. Hole number 2. The first couple of times that you play this hole, you might go over the edge. The disc to use here again is the fuse, and especially when you've got a wind at your back, don't pull it down all the way. Then even with this fuse, you'll run the risk of going over the edge. So I'd say hold out to about the second line there. It'll make it across the gap there and slide right up to the basket. Not much else I can show you on that one. All right, here's where it gets interesting. When you first start playing the game, you probably have been laying up over to that little ledge there, that little landing area off to your right. But with our 11 disc, the flow disc, and you can also do this with a musket, a 10-speed. We'll switch this to backhand, and depending on the wind is going to determine how much hyzer you put on it. But in this wind, probably we'll be able to get by with something like this. You don't want to put too much because then you'll run into the bank there. But something like this should be fine. And have it swing around and land in the area where the basket is. And that way you can come back for a nice eagle. Get you started down the path toward your 3 stars. And if the wind is right, and if you are confident in your shot, and you are lucky, you can ace this and get an albatross. Don't know that we'll be able to show that to you with the flow disc. I've never gotten it with the flow disc before, but I've seen it come pretty close. So okay, here we have the wind going the other way. So let's put our pointer right in that. I don't know if you can see the little stone there. And put just a little bit more of a hyzer on it to counteract that wind. And, ooh, almost. It's always a nice day when you get one of those. Oh, here we are with no sound again. Let me turn on my sound. All right, there's not much else I can show you there unless you just don't have a 10-speed yet. Although I think we got a musket in our last... yes, let's try that musket here. Let's just retire out of here and pop that musket in our bag. You know, we don't use this Strive disc very much, the wind break. So I think we can pull that out and then pop in our musket there so that we can give that a try, see how it does on this hole. Change it to backhand and will it come around like it should? Yeah. Oh. Yeah, that works just fine. Even though it doesn't have an attribute, if you don't have a flow disc, just go ahead and work with that musket. Okay, hole number 4. And if you look at the map in the top left corner, you'll see that even though the distance isn't very far, it's you have to go around a mountain here. It's like a big horseshoe U shape and goes uphill, so it's kind of challenging to get your birdie here. But with a little practice, I think we'll be able to do it. And sometimes you even get an eagle. Let's show you how you do that. I'm going to see what we can do with this Extra Glide Strive here. Let's put our pointer way up above that cloud. Maybe even slide over a bit. And put a full hyzer on that. Pull all the way back. And the idea is you want to hit this and kick off. And ideally slides far enough so that you'll be able to see the basket for a straight shot. This didn't quite make it this time, but we should be able to still pull off a birdie here, and maybe, with a little luck, even still get our eagle here, but this is not an easy shot. We're pulling down more than normal because we do have quite a change in elevation here. So we got our birdie, but let's see if we can't get that eagle. Let's try our big skip this time. The problem with the big skip distance drivers on this one is that it's kind of risky. You tend to go off the side of the mountain. But let's see if we can't bounce right here. Something like that brings us around so that we get close enough to the basket. You're still going uphill, which is kind of awkward. I'm not sure how much extra to put on. When I'm doing an upshot, I like to point my pointer near the top rim of the basket. And but it's still, I think we'll need to go just a little bit further than normal. Watch the bobbing cameraman. And let's try that. Oh, not quite. But that's how you can get an eagle. Alright, before we go on to hole number 5, I'm just going to show you one kind of fun way to try for an eagle. And you wouldn't want to probably do this every time because it's a high risk reward. But maybe on the first hole of a daily challenge, you might want to try this. Coming in the back door, and put your pointer somewhere about like that, and then put a full anhyzer on that, and hope that it makes it up and over and comes down and lands in a way that doesn't roll off the side of the mountain, so that you can come back for the eagle. Alright, hole number 5. This is interesting. The basket is way down the mountainside there. Be so much fun to try and play a hole like this in real life. But we don't need much disc. At first time you play this, you might think, oh, 195 meters. I need to pull out a big distance driver to get there. Well, you'll find out very quickly that's just way too much disc. It's because of the change in elevation, the disc tends to glide a lot, so even this 7-speed Explorer is what will work fine. And I usually put my pointer right about there, above that snowy pine there. And in this wind speed direction, I'll probably Just put a little bit of an anhyzer on that. Well, maybe just a little bit more because of the direction of that speed. We want it to come back first before it starts going down the hill. Something like that. And this brings it down nicely. And usually it stops behind, if it even gets that far, it stops with one of those stones. But today we just kind of snuck right through. But it's only 19 meters to come back, so we should be okay for an eagle. Not an eagle, a birdie. It'd be pretty amazing to get an eagle on this one. Let's replay that, see if we can't get a little different wind condition. Pretty much the same. We use the 7 again, put her right about there, put quite a bit of anhyzer on that. And it's pretty much coming in the same. But doesn't go so far this time. Alright, so that's the play on that one. And let's move on. Alright, this is actually a fairly easy hole once you know what to do. You can use almost any disc for this approach. We could use our recoil here. Maybe try the Strive light disc. Put your pointer somewhere about there, slide over, and then put a full hyzer on that and just let it ricochet off this hill here and swing down to the basket for a toss in. And there's not much else I can show you there. It's just like I say, let's try maybe a different disc this time. You can use almost anything. The flow disc should be fine too. Slide over, put your pointer about there. I would maybe put it down a little bit more than I did last time. Leaves us a little shorter. But still a fairly easy birdie. Okay, hole number 7. This one's kind of interesting. When you first start out, people usually go off to their right and come around to the basket that way. But we can come around to the left as well, and that usually opens up the opportunity to get a eagle on this hole. This Strive disc is with the roll attributes, probably our best choice given what we have in our bag. We're going to change it to a forehand and put our pointer right about there. And this probably is too much disc for this, so I'm going to hold up just a little bit, come back a little bit, and sometimes you can ace it even. And that's always nice. Get an albatross on this. But usually you can pick up an eagle here. Let's give it another shot, give it a play. So we pick a roll distance driver, we slide across, we come back, and we change it from backhand to forehand. And then with this Strive disc, don't go quite all the way down. Ooh. That tree, fortunately, it didn't slide on that snow and go down into the lake, so I think we're going to be fine here. For another eagle, but let's just play it one more time. But we forgot to hold up. We pull it all the way down, and then it went further than what we would like. But if we compensate right for this distance and change in elevation, we should still be okay. for the eagle. Hole number 8. Okay, I think the flow disc will work fine here, or the musket that we put in our bag would work fine here. Put your pointer right about here. I don't know if you can see the change in shade there with this phone app. It's a little hard to see the change in, but there's a little tunnel up there, kind of a mining shaft that we need to get into. But if you put your pointer right about there and put just a little bit of a hyzer, maybe a half a disc of hyzer on that, it should come around and go into the tunnel and land a little bit short. If you have a musket with an extra glide attribute, it will bring you closer to the basket. But 18 meters is usually not much of a problem. Let's choose the fuse here, and we should be able to just pop this right in. Let's try the musket and see how it flies. This musket that has no attribute. Oh, well, hold on. It does have a map. It has an extra fade light. All right, we'll have to keep that in mind. An extra fade naturally goes off to the left. So we'll maybe put our pointer about here and see what happens. Yeah, just faded a little bit too much there, but still entered. Let's try it one more time, see if we can't get a cleaner entrance with that musket. This time, since we saw how much it faded, we won't put any hyzer on it this time. We'll just do a straight pull down and see how that goes. Too much. So if you want to get a feel for that fuse, maybe just hit the replay button like that and just see what you have to do to get in there. That worked. And because this is a light disc, I guess, it does slide in a little further. Let's try it again. And you notice I put my pointer quite a bit over this time to let that fade right in from a straight pull down. And even then it faded a bit too much for my liking, and it seems to have gone up quite a bit. Let's maybe pull our pointer down a little bit and over a little bit more. That's the great thing about using the practice mode. If you've got a new disc in your bag and you want to see what you have to do, you have to learn what you need to do, where to point it, and you can experiment just by quickly hitting that replay button. And that lets us know what we need to do with that disc if we're going to use that on this hole. So there we go. All right, last hole, number 9. I remember the first time I tried this hole, I just couldn't make it. Can't remember now if I just didn't have the discs in my bag. Maybe I was trying to play this course before I had enough discs. I was going the free route the first time. I trying to avoid paying for anything, but I just really struggled on this hole. I think I eventually just gave up trying to get my 3 stars on this one and came back at a later time when I had some better discs. But we've got some good discs in our bag. I think we can, even with just this flow disc, let's come over to the left ledge. We'll change it from forehand to backhand, and I think just put a little bit of a hyzer on this and let it naturally come in, and usually it doesn't go off the ledge. It's rare that I've had a disc go off the edge. If you land in it, usually sticks it. And then from here, we only have 55 meters to get to the hole. And I usually put my pointer just left of the basket and come down just a little bit more than you normally would. I think there's a change of elevation here, and hope for the best. Sometimes it goes in and sometimes it doesn't. But when it doesn't, you still end up with a birdie. And that's all you really need for your 3 stars. Let's play it again, see if we can't get that eagle. Remember to change it to backhand, or you will be in trouble. Once you do get your 10 speed that has a little bit more of an extra glide attribute, you want to change that out so that it goes a little further down that ledge and gets you a little closer to the basket. But 63, we should still make this. I think I'll pull it down almost the whole way. So no eagle this time, but if you make that same series of plays, you'll get into that basket every once in a while for a nice eagle. Well, there you go. Practice round on Crow's Nest. Hope you're able to pick up a few tips today and help you on your way to get your 3 stars on Crow's Nest. And that's what we'll do next time we come back. We'll get our 3 stars. And if you haven't already done so, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. That way you'll get notified. Hit the little bell. You'll get notified every time we drop a new video. And we'll see you next time here at Disc Golf Valley Tips and Tricks. So long for today.